This is how this goes. It doesn't get any better the further along I get it on there. And now I have a brake booster in the way because I installed that already. I didn't have that problem last time, so yeah. What's going on? So yeah, the thumbnail is right. I made a monumental mistake while working on my truck. I mean, yeah, I messed up big time. And luckily, the internet helped me fix my problem. They gently guided me into the right direction. Amazing enough, thank you guys. Anybody who's actually commented on my Facebook post when I showcased what I've done with my truck and the error, and yeah, I'm screen share right now. I messed up on mounting the cab. The cab is officially mounted to the chassis in the wrong spot. Yeah, I messed that up so bad. So I'll put the photo of the truck up for you guys to see with the wheel spacing. And I cut and I cut and I cut everything I possibly could on this truck to make this fit. And the solution was so stupidly, deceivingly simple to fix my problem. I can't believe I didn't even think of it. I've done all sorts of fabrication in my life, and I can't believe I didn't think of this simple, stupid solution. Let me show you real quick what I've done so far, then we'll get to the solution. So on the front of the truck, there used to be, you know, a piece that came out here and then went across. Cut all that off, nuts this back as far as I could. I even took the plasma cutter and accidentally cut a hole in my condenser core, so I need to get a new one, but I cut this off. And I cut as much off of my front end, my nose, as possible. Like, I was cutting into the very edge of the grill to make this guy work. I'll show you guys here. Usually there's like a big radiator support that would stick up over here. I cut that out, widened this hole. See, I cut the bottom of this. I need to clean it all up still. But I did a whole lot of trimming to get the nose as far back as possible on this thing. And it didn't work. And the solution to fix this problem, my problem is the radiator's in the way. And with the radiator in the way, I'm like, they're like, just move the radiator back. I'm like, how? Then I realized they said it. Undo these 3 bolts on both sides, so 6 bolts, and take this hole and put it here and drill 2 new holes for the other ones. When I first read the comments, I was like, you guys are full of crap. Then I really started looking at it and realized I'm just an idiot. This is such a simple solution to this problem. I should have figured this out on my own with no problems whatsoever. I mean, there's plenty of room here between the engine and everything. So they might get a little tight with this reservoir specifically on here with this motor. But that's fine because I can always change this to something else later from a Cobra Mustang or something else or whatever. I'm not concerned about this reservoir being in my way for any purposes whatsoever. But I'll be able to move it, hopefully clear everything. I may have to take off my accumulator here or my dryer. Oh my gosh, wrong part. The dryer for my air conditioner to make this fit accordingly for now, and find the smaller dryer later. But the AC is so far down the line for this project. A running truck. Make it run. Go vroom vroom. That's what I want. All right, let's go ahead and start figuring this radiator portion out so I can move this, then bring the nose back over here. Which again, if you guys haven't seen my Facebook post, be sure to hit I'll put a Facebook link down below if you guys want to check out some of my posts here. Some of the angles I gotta hit with the nose to get up in here, I didn't show you guys before because I was like, oh, it'll be hard to record, but you're gonna get to see it now because we're gonna test fit everything and move the cab back where it needs to be, cut out all the mounts I put in, and redo everything. Such is the way of building cars. You goof, you fix it, and we figure it out and keep going, because that's problem solving 101. Let's move this radiator. So I had to pull the AC condenser? No, God, dryer. Dryer, that's it. Dryer out to make room for this side to get there. And it's too close. I can't. I gotta rethink my plan of attack here because that's not gonna exactly work how I would like it to. And this side as well. Power steering lines are currently hitting the ABS, which I have plans to make this function in the future, so I don't want to get rid of it. So, yep. Now, I don't have a problem cutting this bracket off, because right now I can't move back because the bracket's hitting that. And they won't let me get that last little bit. The hose, I'm not worried about the hose. I can fix the hose. 90-degree bend or something like that, easy enough to fix this solution problem. Moving this, probably end up lopping this off right here. Take off that hose, that hole. Oh, if I do that, then the holes won't line up. Well, it won't matter. I gotta make new holes anyways. So to get this for that, I feel like this is going to be way too tight to begin with for my current problem because of this hose that I ran before. So, yep, that's where we're at. And I'm not exactly sure where we're going to go from here just yet, but I like the direction we're going. At least it's moving. A direction. It may not be straight, but we're moving in that direction. All right, I'm going to commune with myself for a little bit, become one with the truck to figure out how I'm going to solve this particular problem, and then I'll get back with you. Revision 1, which is what I'm going to be calling this revision right now, I've tweaked the design a little bit. So what I've done is gone through, and everybody online was telling me to take this bolt and move it to the third hole. So it's only in the second hole, not the third hole. And that's because with the 4 valve, I need a little more space, and I don't want to buy an electric fan. So this coolant hose here, focus, right there, is already pretty snug. Power steering hose again, still a problem, but not a big deal. It's not rubbing right on top. It's on it, but not going to rub a hole or anything. And I can easily put a 90-degree here, so that's not a problem. If I get a new fan, that means I need to get a new reservoir, a mount for a reservoir, and another reservoir, and a way to mount this, or mount this in a different location some way. This one I'm not overly concerned about. This one is just, I'm trying to avoid the extra costs if I can. So I'm going to take the grinder wheel and clean this up and chop this little excess off. And then we're going to bring the nose back over the truck over here and see how much more room I got. Because it's going to be close. I hope it gets there. I hope it gets there because it'll be easy. Oh, and the bottom bracket that I ended up taking off, can I get it from here? I was able to put it back by shifting it back one hole. Let's see if I can get this guy to... So the bottom bracket here, I took it, there used to be a stud that came out here, and these two studs used to sit there. So I shifted them back one hole, and that seems to be holding everything up nice and tidy. And you guys can even see I got this guy here, which is a thermostat housing for this 4-valve mod motor. So yeah, this is a monumental pain in my butt. There's a delete for this to relocate it up top. But again, that's more money I don't want to spend if I don't have to. And I'd rather make work what I have here work. So, yep, this is what we're going to go with. Might be a little bit better view of everything in here, how snug it's getting. I'm like, I don't care if it's that close. I can still get the belt on and off with no issues here. Well, maybe some issues, but not the worst I've had to ever deal with. So, I'm good. And in the future, as long as this runs, in the future I'm going to go, oh, hey, I want to make more room. Let me swap the fan. Not a problem, but we'll find out first. We got to try putting everything up, but let's start grinding so I can get this front end done and figure out what we're doing next. Go ahead and use my spicy sprinkle maker and chop this sucker up. This is gonna take a while, so we'll come back. I cut off the excess, so now I got a little more space here. Didn't clean this up yet because I'm not worried about this until I'm ready to make a mount. I'm just trying to make everything fit. But this shaved off like 2 inches. That is like a 2-inch move back, so I'm hoping this is enough to make it so I don't gotta buy a new fan because I don't want to do that. This side cleaned up. Well, now raise the truck. Or the bed, the truck, the bed, the what? The cab. We're gonna raise the cab so that way I can shift the chassis forward. No. Yeah, the chassis has to come forward because the cab needs to move back, and I can't move the cab back because it's gonna be lifted on the lift. Does that make sense? I don't know. We're just gonna show you. We're gonna do it, and I get to show you my pretty mounts that I made that I'm not gonna use. Sad face. God, I love having a lift in the garage. It makes things so much easier, but also such a pain in the butt. I should do a 1-year review on this lift actually, because there's a few big plus and minuses for it. But by the way, that's a whole nother video. I want to show you guys what I did before, which I messed up on, which is really annoying because I had a good welding day when I made these. This is my rear bracket, which luckily I'll be able to use again. I'm just gonna have to cut the welds here all the way around and then slide this back. Use some polyurethane bushings that I had to cut them because there's a metal ring that stick out on these. Use a piece of pipe here to center them up. Boom. And then see the bolt dangling down over there. That would just go poop right through there. Which that one is not the problem. I'm not worried about that. Cutting that out, sliding back, easy. Too easy. It's my front mount that's a bit of a problem. Yep, this guy. This was here. I just welded a piece of box tubing right here. Now on the newer F100s, the 65s, there's like a big pyramid thing that comes out and mounts right here. Well, I don't have that. And I don't want to build that for this because my plan is to cut this out because this is a floorboard and extend this, maybe make it go straight down here and out. They got plenty of room between here, this, and the tire. I mean, tons of room. And that gives me more leg room because I am tall. And the other person who probably ride with this, other than the wife, my brother, is also tall. And yeah, I want leg room. I lowered the seats, which is a whole means brings your legs up. So I want to be able to extend my legs out. I can't reach my legs all the way out because not enough room. So that's why I'm not making the mount for this. Problems I foresee is this is going to move back probably about 2 inches, and that leads me right into the fuel lines, or just in front of the fuel line. So I got to figure that out. But let's go ahead and, you know what? I'm going to bring this all the way up and try to swing the nose with the engine hoist over. I haven't tried that yet. I tried doing it with the car in the way, and in the meantime, you can see all the nice scratches I made, and it's okay. I don't care about this paint. I didn't do any of these chips or anything that are along here. They were there. So this paint flakes really, really easily, and there's plenty of metal work that needs to be done, so I'm not concerned about that at all. So yeah, don't copy me if you want to keep your paint nice and pristine, but my circumstances of space in front of the truck are pretty bad. So yeah, let's do this. I should go buy a lottery ticket today because today is my lucky day. I guess kind of. Let me just show you guys. I walked into the garage and this is what I found hovering above the Camaro. This would be the LED light that used to be right there. Hard to see, but the screw is still in there, right there. Yeah, not a clue why it fell. It's been up there for years. I mean, I had the video posted where I installed this guy, right there, right there. Yeah, no. But it did not hit the Camaro. Thank God, the wife would have killed me. So yeah, before I continue on to work on the truck today, I gotta fix this problem. Yep, because without this one plugged in, the rest of my lights don't work because this is the first one in line. So I gotta, yeah. All right, let me go ahead and move the CRV and the Camaro out of the way so we can address this problem. On it. The lighting's fixed. We can move on. Now we got the engine hoist and the nose of the truck over here, and it needs to go there. I've done this a couple times already. It's not fun. All right, let's get into this. Yep, that's how this is going. So if you want to do this with the engine hoist, it's in this tight of a space. Yeah. So I'm not too concerned about my condenser core here because it's already messed up. I have a little hole in it with a plasma cutter. But I don't have any space up here for this to actually fit. So, yep. This gets all sorts of... Check that angle out. So if you actually care about your paint, I don't recommend you doing it like this. Now, if I had a second pair of hands, I could be a little more careful and probably not nick any of the paint. But if you do this and you want to, keep your paint nice, I recommend, put like a towel around here because this was rubbing up against here. That was there before. But, to keep this a little cleaner, add some towels on the floor for them to slide across. When you lifted it up and it was at the angle and the back end would drag along the ground. So yeah, I had a few things to try to keep it a little better. But yep, this is how this goes. It doesn't get any better the further along I get it on there. And now I have a brake booster in the way because I installed that already. I didn't have that problem last time, so yeah. Oh, and the other problem I'm going to run into in my particular case is the whole thing's sitting on wheel cribs, which means now it's in the way of the engine hoist. Everything's in the way. I'm not worried about those. Those are going to trash in a minute. But yeah, this is going to have to go up and around there. And it's not like these bend in any way. These are fixed. And they're going to have to yeah. So it's not an exact science. I'll show you guys when I get further along here that it's bad. So this is pretty much where I had it before. And I'm glad I get to do this because it shows you how far back it's on the wheel well. I was going to live with it, but I'm not okay with it. But now that I've done the trimming and moved that radiator back, I have room. I don't know how much more room, but there's room there to get some more space. I don't think it's going to be enough because a lot of guys move the radiator further back, and I don't know if I'm going to get away with that. Okay, let's figure out how I am going to shift the chassis forward because I can't move the cab because it's on the lift. So the chassis has to move, but it's sitting on things that don't roll. Okay, I'm gonna have to He-Man this, I think. It's my best option, so that's what we're gonna go with. Okay, so the chassis does need to go forward more, but in the meantime, I want to show you guys what I'm dealing with. So since I cut out so much of the nose, I have a whole ton of room now for the radiator, because before the radiator was sitting up against the grill. I mean, it was right on top of that. So now I have a nice gap over here for this. I need to cut this back more. I thought I had enough, but nope. So I'm going to cut it back to this hole. Then I'm going to get rid of the hole completely. I'm just going to L shape this. Cut this notch here. Like I got that little nub sticking out there. I'm going to just cut that straight back to this hole. Cut this straight back here. Cut that section out. I'm going to leave a lip on the bottom, I believe, to try to use this L shape as a new mount for the nose. That's wishful thinking, but that's what we're going to go with for now, and let's cut some more. Well, it's been a few days, and a few things have changed, including my face. Got rid of the beard. No idea why, just felt like it, so gone. So, yeah, changed my mind a lot. A few things have changed on the truck as well. I got new mounts made. So I went through and made an extension for my front mount here to move back. Now the problem with it is you guys can see the slant right here, so that bolt's going to go right through, all the way through, and I'm going to have to make some sort of special shim or spacer or a new mounting point for that to sit on, because where the screw sits, the nut in the washer is not flat. It is, so cross that bridge when I get there. I'm not there yet, but all the mounts are made. The one on the other side is done, extension made over there, and I've made progress on the back bar. It was a bunch of boring, grinding nonsense stuff, so I didn't record any of it for you guys to see, but it's in now. Hopefully the captain's final position. It wasn't as good a welding day, so my weld turn is nice, but you can see here where it used to sit, and now it sits back about 2.5 inches further back than it used to. It was nice because that was already made. I had to remake it. I had to cut it out and just move it. The fronts, though, took a bit of creativity to figure out how to specifically do that, because part of the problems I had there was not only the bolt, or not bolt, that's what I'm getting at. The bolt was the problem, but all the slant, but my fuel lines and brake lines go right through there, and I didn't want to move them. Now, I could have gone and got different fuel lines, but these are hard fuel lines. I didn't want to get rid of them. They're great. They're perfect. There's no reason to get rid of them. They'll do everything I want them to do. But you guys might be able to see here. See that hole right down there? Yeah, that's where this used to go. But I'm just going to go ahead and relocate this. I couldn't close this off. I originally was going to go from here to here, weld the bottom of this to this piece here, but then I couldn't get my fuel lines out, and I wasn't going to run new fuel lines. I was like, no. So, cut it there, cut it short. The mount sits nice and flat here, so it's good to go. And then I'm just going to relocate this hole over here. I'll move this around somewhere over there in order for me to, I'll drill, tap that, put the screw here, which I believe this screw is the same screws that hold in the radiator. Which is awesome. It makes my life so much easier. Except for the fact I broke my tap. So my tap and die set. This is my M8 1.25, 8mm 1.25 tap. You can see it's not okay. I didn't break it on this project. It was a different project. So I had to get a new one. And it's amazing when you go into a store and they're like, hey, I need an M8 1.25 tap. Not everybody knows what the heck you're talking about. Yeah, so luckily at Northern Tool, they had what I needed. And it came with a drill bit that I didn't need, but that's what I got. That's what they had. It was the right price, and they had a coupon, so even better. So now we get to tap those holes. to drill and tap the new hole for that guy. And tap those holes, which means I'm going to move the bracket out of the way, tap them, then, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't tell you a little rogue on my original plan for this whole radiator mounting. The original plan was I moved this back from the original to the second hole. Well, I've realized I can go a little bit further back, which gave me just a little bit more room without making this too tight because of that my hose right here. This guy here. So give me a little room. So I'm like, all right, fine. Well, if I'm going to drill the 2 new holes for the rear, why don't I just drill a 3rd hole and move this as far back and make my own 3 custom holes for this? So that's what I did. So it gave me just a little bit more room up here to give just a little more space between the condenser and the grill. And I'm going to tap these. Yep. And I got to do those. I already drilled those at the side. So now it's all tappy. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go tappy stuff. Yay! Viola. I guess this would really be achievement unlocked. I learned how to thread and tap stuff. Tap things with threads. Yeah, you know what I mean. I already knew how to do it, but I unlocked that achievement together with you guys. Thanks for coming along. Everything's all painted where it belongs. I got all 4, I'm going to call them pucks, but body mounts, where they need to be. Boom, good to go. So let's bring this body down and put it in its final resting position. Hopefully for the last time, because if I have to move this thing again, I don't know what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be really mad. Really mad. Really. Come down. It is as fast as she goes, folks. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry. For my safety, for your safety, for everyone's safety, this going this fast is probably a good thing. And that one bolt is probably not going to line up because it never does. Yep. Just missed it. To show you how close it is, how little I have to do. Now it's in. Missed it by that much. Close enough, it'll hold the crab down from going anywhere. I didn't even check the fronts because I'm that confident that they are where they're supposed to be. And she's free. She's free. I'm so excited. And I've already done this once, but I'm still super excited about it. Okay. That's resting. Did the bolt come through? No, I don't feel a bolt. Why no bolt? There you go. Bolts through. 3 of 4. Almost done. I've not done this with this setup yet. Make sure all the bolts go through and everything. Which I'm still have to make some custom washers or something for hold down the front, but we'll get there. That's a whole nother video. And it's in. Oh my God! All I had to do was just move the carpet. Success! Yes. Problems fixed. Now I can go back to fixing the steering column, which is what I was originally working on before I realized I messed up. So I can get this steering connected, then work on the brakes and the gas pedal, and then we go vroom vroom. Yes. All right, that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to all those YouTube nonsense things, whatever. Till next time. Peace.